What's up, everybody? Hello, Twitch. Hello, YouTube. How's everybody doing today? We're back. Stream number 51. I can't even believe I'm saying that. Like, I've been looking back through all the videos. It's crazy how many I've done already. Like, I am truly grateful that I have 18 followers. Like, it's crazy. I really hope we can get to this 25 follower goal, though, soon. That'd be really cool. Because I think if I get to 50, then I can become a Twitch like affiliate or partner or something like that, and I can actually like do stuff. But um that's being said, if you want to support me, my tipping thing is on my like about me on Twitch. And that brings you to another page. I am grateful for even if you sent a penny. But honestly, more than money, I really just would rather like authentic people to watch and like become a community. But anyway, this painting, I did do quite a bit off stream. Is almost done. Just going in with more detail work with some of these lines because they were like kind of roughly painted over. But I threw in my background star thing. I actually ended up using where is it? I ended up using this Liquitex acrylic masking fluid, and this stuff worked so good. Like, now that I know how it works, I'm totally going to use that for like my geometric paintings when I'm trying to tape stuff that I can't like physically tape. Also, when I'm done painting or messing around with this one, I just realized that I have here's a whole another one in the packaging still. So I just had a really cool idea for a geometric pattern that I want to try to incorporate everything, everything that my body relies on as the geometric patterns, like the outlines of things that my body relies on. So I think I'm going to do that. That'll be a really interesting painting. But with that, I think with this one, I'm gonna try to do this, or no, I am gonna do this one only on stream. So this one will be my first painting that I am not gonna touch this thing if I am not on stream. I mean, like not painted. I'm touching it right. Anyway, we also have this bad boy who I did my trademark get, you know, 85% and then stop working on it. So I need to add more outline on those, fix some things on this. Um, This one is also not done yet. The more I'm looking at it though, the more I'm like, damn, that thing is pretty much done. All I gotta do is put the background on. So we'll see. But that being said, yeah, I'm just gonna be working on some detail work, like I said, YouTube videos, commentary. Um, if you've been here before, you know I'm gonna go off topic and probably rant about something that makes no sense, but that's okay because we're just chilling here. We're just chilling. It's just a chill stream, bro. All right, let's do this shit. All right, let's hit this YouTube roulette wheel. Mm, Oh, caught me watching my own stream. Um, oh no, the Gadoosh God is in trouble. He got gadooshed. Did he get gadooshed in real life? Uh-oh. Hold on. Can you hear that? Why is the audio coming out of the computer? In the I'm not getting anything on the. You know, YouTube just loves doing this. Or I mean, OBS just absolutely loves changing things for no apparent reason. Control audio. What the? Hello? Well, where'd it go?
Has just had a
Can you hear?
crazy development in his lore.
I can't hear it now. Oh wait. Oh God, the audio mixer had one more little thingy. Oopsies.
As he
Okay,
continues
so you can hear that. I can't hear that now, which is unfortunate. Hmm. I mean, to be honest, this wouldn't be a normal stream if it wasn't absolute just technical difficulties. So, okay, now it's gone. Give me a second. I think it'll come back around. Probably not. I'm gonna have to go into my history. This is so stupid.
to spiral. He has become an impressive clown.
Now it just works. Okay. We're good. We are good.
Now, I made a video a little over a month ago kind
Let's
of bringing you all up to
see
speed
what
on the
happens with the
story,
Gadoosh.
the anime arc of Wes Watson. This sensitive Sigma Watson does your standard guru scamming tactics where he sells these garbage classes and courses on how to be a multi-millionaire who gets more ass than a toilet seat, and he
Oh wow.
sells this
A lot of ass.
invaluable knowledge for thousands upon thousands of dollars, preying upon gullible, desperate
Alright, let me
men who look at
quibble.
videos of Wes Watson's fake lifestyle and rented mansion with stars in their eyes, thinking they're only one Zoom meeting away from achieving that for themselves. So they toss their wallet at the computer screen, hoping to latch on to Wes Watson's juiced out bosom to suckle a
Oh,
bit of success from it, and he drains their piggy bank and they say thank you for it. They get nothing in return, but Wes Watson gets very rich off of his little pay piggies. That's the whole scam. We all know how it works. But what makes Wes Watson so special is that he's not afraid to show his sensitive side. He is constantly
yeah,
arguing
he's
with
been
Redditors
Gadooshed.
and people on Instagram. So he directly messages pretty much everyone who makes fun of him, and it's what makes him such an entertaining clown. So the video I made talking about gadooshing, well, that came from him because he was talking about how
He's been
Redditors
Gadooshed.
were gadooshing him. It's just so entertaining listening to him bitch and moan and rant and spiral into lunacy. But he did recently find himself in a serious situation, which is what we're here to talk about today.
Uh-oh.
He has some charges filed against him, if you can believe that.
No
He
way.
already spent 10 years in the slammer before where he'd brag about how flexible his asshole was, hooping his paperwork, and Wes, it's looking like you might need to start getting back on those Kegels. You might need to start working out that sphincter again, because these charges are serious. It's always the people you least expect, huh?
Where's the police report? Are there charges being pressed, right? Well, I have it all, and I'm gonna show it to you, and I'm gonna go over it with you. This is an open case. I'm working on
That
the
Bravo
full
guy is
footage,
hilarious.
censoring it in a way so I don't get in legal trouble, and I'm gonna put it out on here, and then later, when I can actually release the whole thing, I'm gonna put it on X uncensored. When I'm allowed to.
Last time I was goofing on Whiny Watson, I also briefly mentioned John Bravo. John Bravo has a channel that has done extremely good coverage on Wes Watson's
He
embarrassing
is Johnny
descent
Bravo.
into madness. And John Bravo has a great video here where he is going over the footage to the best of his ability, as well as the police report from Wes Watson and his group of lobotomites assault on someone that actually took up Wes Watson's common challenge of fighting him. So, let me go ahead and tell you how we got here, the context.
Wait, what?
About a week ago, maybe a little over a week ago, there was footage, as well as Wes Watson's testimonials about this, that someone had confronted him at the gym. A 7-foot monster is what he was referred to as, and Wes Watson beat his ass. And there was like some stills that floated around, but no one had like the full picture, and some people were calling it fake. Well, John Bravo did some digging, and he got all of the footage, which he is saying he's going to release the full uncensored version once he's able to make sure that he's not going to get in trouble for it, and also has the police report, which he goes over in this video, which we will also go over as well.
The first thing I want you guys to see, I have to obviously black out the person's name, the police report number. See where it says disposition pending? That means the case is open, all right? And the other thing I'm going to tell you ahead of time is I'm going to go to the bottom and read you one part, then I'm going to go back to the start, okay? Because I know a lot of people are impatient. They want to watch 3 seconds and leave, okay? When the victim was asked if he wanted to press charges, the victim stated yes. And he was jumped by multiple people and was not just a 1 versus 1 battle.
Now, the gist of it is, the reason the 7-foot monster was there in the first place is because he went there to actually take up Wes Watson on his challenge. Wes Watson has been wishing for hair for many, many moons now, but the only wish that's actually being granted is someone actually taking him up on this. So the 7-foot monster shows up, and Wes Watson doesn't actually fight him one-on-one. So he actually just gets ganged up on by Wes and 3 of his buddies who are hitting him with dumbbells, weight belts, and it's just brutal. And imagine being that pathetic worm that flexes about this, because Wes Watson was making it sound like he was some kind of hero and this was all self-defense. He made it sound like he fought this guy with the Knight's Code of Honor. Like a 1v1 pugilistic fisticuffs, the old-fashioned way. That's a load of fucking barnacles right there. That's just fanfic, because what actually happened is Wes Watson got to hide behind his friends and they just ganged up on this guy. Imagine being such a pitiful fucking vermin that you challenge someone to a fight and then bring 3 other dudes with you to help fight that guy with you. It's so cringe, which is Wes Watson in a nutshell.
The suspect stated the victim walked up to him stating he wanted to fight. The suspect stated they began to fight verbally and then escalated to physical. The victim stated he doesn't know who the victim is and he never seen him before. When asked if he wanted to press charges, he said no, this is Wes Watson. They asked him if he wants to press charges. Wes Watson says no, and he never seen him before. Units then spoke to the victim, the 7-foot monster, who stated he was told by the suspect to come fight him via Instagram. We know how Wes challenges all of us on Instagram. He did it to me, the piece of shit, but I knew not to go in because his goons, security, and his bullshit weapons pulling out the shit out of the purse.
I love the way John Bravo calls him a piece of shit all the time. He also calls him Pegged Watson pretty often, and it just always makes me giggle just listening to him always slide in, you piece of shit, to Wes Watson. But anyway, what he is describing here was Wes Watson saying, like, he didn't know the suspect he was working out. This guy came over and said he wants to fight him. Well, the reason he came over and said he wants to fight him is because Wes Watson had challenged him, and he actually showed the Instagram messages that confirmed, yep, this was like a prearranged thing where Wes does the standard Wes thing of saying, come fight me. And the guy showed up, he said, bet, I'm here to fight. So he walked over to him, they had like a really brief verbal back and forth, and the victim did give him like a little shove, but to me it looks like he backed off, looking to try and de-escalate things. I think he wasn't really there to fight. I think he was there more just to confront a bully. I think that's what he was doing, because it doesn't look like he went over there to try and just beat Wes Watson's ass out of nowhere. Like, he didn't throw any sucker punches or anything from the footage that's been released. He goes over there, it's a verbal back and forth, and then he gives him like a little shove and then steps away. And then after he does that, that's when Wes Watson and his boys just go ballistic on him. Wes Watson strikes him in the face with a weight belt multiple times, and then all hell breaks loose.
When units looked at the victim's phone, it shows the victim messaging the suspect to fight him. The victim then stated he went to the gym to confront the suspect. So now we have the motive. So he wanted to go to the gym and fight Wes because Wes has been challenging all of us to come there. So he went to fight him. But I don't think he knew it wasn't a one-on-one battle with Mr. Pegged Watson.
It wasn't even a battle at all. It was checkmate before the game even started, because Wes was traveling with 3 of his friends that were using weapons to defend Wes Watson, even though there wasn't really a threat to defend him from, at least not in my eyes. So like that initial shove, that is instigating for sure. I get that. They're in a verbal argument, but after the shove, he backs off. And it doesn't look like he ever planned on like striking at Wes until the weight belt hits him in the head twice. They then get into a verbal argument, and then he kind of like falls forward at Wes Watson. Maybe he's kind of lunging at him, but it also looks like his friend hit him with a dumbbell and it sent him forward, so it's kind of hard to tell. But what is irrefutable is that after that lunge, he falls to the ground,
Bro,
And
getting
then
hit by a
Wes and his friends
dumbbell?
hit him with dumbbells and weight
Ow!
belts for a very long period of time, and it ends with the victim kind of hung.
I feel like one hit from a dumbbell would just kill me. Like if somebody threw a fucking or just like swung one, man. I feel like the older you get, like I mean, I'm 36, but I feel like maybe it's just because I'm super out of shape, which just reminded me of something. But I'm gonna have to take a break in a second. I gotta go to the bathroom. So you know what? I'll run up right now. All right, BRB bathroom break. I'm gonna throw on that sweet break music, right? Wait, is something happening to the signal? Do we hear? We hear something cutting in. Oh, we got something. Oh, it's me. I'm back. How you guys doing? All right. Sorry about that.
Hunched over like this on the ground, all bloodied and bruised, and Wes Watson comes out of nowhere with a soccer kick to the fucking skull. That is a move that kills people. That is oftentimes fatal. And according to John Bravo in the full footage, there are 4 or 5 soccer kicks to the head of this guy.
What?
Wes Watson, the victim, stated they got in a verbal fight, which escalated to physical. The victim was stating that he was hit by a belt and then jumped by multiple people and hit by weights. When asked if he wanted to press charges, the victim stated yes. He was jumped by multiple people and it wasn't versus one. After reviewing CCTV footage of the incident, so the cops watched the CCTV footage. The victim places his phone down next to a weight machine as if he was attempting to record the encounter.
So he obviously recorded this knowing full well that he wanted to film his confronting of Wes Watson. So now we know why it was being recorded. It wasn't like a staged thing, which is what a lot of people thought it might have been when this initially started to float around. It's all very real and all confirmed in the police report here.
The suspect then swings the belt towards the victim's head, appearing to hit him. The suspect and victim continue to argue verbal. The suspect then turns around and starts to walk away from the victim with his back towards the victim. The victim then rushes towards the suspect and attempts to strike the suspect in the head with his fist, but appears to miss. All right, so that portion of the footage I'm going to show you guys. So after Wes hit him with that belt 2 times, right? that asshole with the dumbbell, his butt buddy, was behind him. And I can't tell if he hit him with it or not, but it lunged him forward and then he went
Wow.
back to get Wes. But he didn't even make
What a
it like a
piece of
foot or
shit.
two, and Wes took him down.
It's just kind of hard to tell. He does have a dumbbell, and he does go off camera, and I can kind of see like the
He has, like, a
dumbbell on
little
the
one,
back
and he
of the
goes, like-
guy's shirt. So it looks like he got struck by the dumbbell, but it's hard to tell because it's censored here, and I don't have the full thing yet. But that's kind of what it looks like to me. I can kind of see arguments for like, oh, the 7-foot monster started it. This is kind of on him. Wes Watson was well within his right to defend himself. That would almost work if the rest of the video footage wasn't there, which is why when Wes Watson was talking about it, he made sure you didn't see the whole picture. Because the guy is on the ground, covered up, fetal position, just trying to like protect his head. And Wes and his friends punch, kick, and strike him with weapons for an extremely long period of time, even though it's very clear this fight is over. Also, it's a fight Wes Watson himself fucking agreed to, it seems. A one-on-one. But it actually was never one-on-one because Wes, you can't 1v1. He'll never meet you on Rust. He's always going to bring his whole crew with him. So the guy showed up for the fight with Wes, but got gangbanged instead.
Wait,
The suspect instantly reacts and gets the
isn't like Wes Watson well, yeah, he went to prison, so isn't he like a convicted felon? Right? Felon is not supposed to hang, like, I assume some of the people that are around him are also were in prison at some point, maybe? Or maybe not, I don't know.
victim on the ground and begins to strike the victim in the head and face numerous times with his hands. Yeah, I counted 45 fucking times. After
What?
the victim being hit numerous times, all you can see is the victim on his knees, protecting his face and not fighting back. His eyes were being gouged, his ponytails were being pulled. Dirty shit. He's being held down by his butt buddies.
What
They're
the
all taking
fuck?
a little lick in, a kick here, a kick there. The suspect
Okay,
then
so
stopped
that's a
hitting the
prison
victim,
beatdown.
and the victim stopped protecting his face. That's that part with the kick, and attempted to stand up. The suspect then walked over and kicked the
What a
victim in the
piece of
face with
shit.
force. That's that soccer kick. But prior to that soccer kick, there was 4 soccer kicks, 3 or 4 hard ones to his face.
No exaggeration, that kind of kick kills people. Straight up.
Yeah.
That has put people in the dirt thousands of times over. And this fight is clearly done. There's no more threat to Wes or his group of goofballs. There's no threat there at all. It's
What a
done.
piece of shit.
And Wes Watson comes back like a post-credit scene to deliver one more soccer kick to this man's skull, which literally could have just killed him. But I've
Yeah,
still
dude.
seen people just try and say that everything that happened here is justifiable as self-defense for Wes Watson because the guy
What?
came up to him and started it. But I just don't fully agree with that because I feel like the fight is over when 4 people are
Yeah, what?
collectively beating a man with weapons on the ground. Like, I think the fight's done. There's not really a threat to defend yourself from. Also, you were the one that agreed to a 1v1 fight, and then it wasn't 1v1.
Yeah.
And also, the guy never actually even struck Wes. There's that brief moment where he kind of like lunges at him, but that's also possible. He was falling after getting hit by that dumbbell. It's hard to tell. But no matter how hard you try and justify it, there's no amount of mental gymnastics that could possibly justify that final kick from Wes. Because again, he crawls away on his fucking hands and
Yeah,
knees.
dude, that's a
This is
kill
clearly over. Wes Watson's fucking friends have even left at this point, but he still comes back around like a jump scare to deliver that soccer kick, which could have just been fatal. So there's just no way anyone, not even Saul fucking Goodman, could make a convincing argument that that still falls under self-defense. Even Wes Watson's own friends have left. And he has crawled away on his hands and knees, not even looking at you. You come back to attack him.
That's
While he
fucking
was already
dirty,
done.
dude.
And they didn't say it in here. I'm going to show it to you guys in the footage. The victim stated at the hospital that he wants to press charges. When he was first put on the ground and stated he was telling the suspect to stop. Victim had the left side of
do
his
that
face very
right.
swollen lips, and was bleeding from the nose and mouth. Charges are being pressed. The case is open.
Bro, he must have had
I
brain
have the
damage.
body cam footage coming. I have the full fight footage coming.
John Bravo goes on to explain why he's releasing all of this to the public, explaining that he believes that it's a good service to allow people to form their own opinions on something like this. And I think he's absolutely right. Though I don't know
Definitely.
how anyone could form the opinion that Wes Watson was in the right here. Again, if the whole footage didn't exist, you could maybe say that there was self-defense at play. Wes Watson feared for his life after someone accepted his challenge of fighting him one-on-one, thus they had to gangbang the guy. Okay, maybe you could stretch for something there, but I think having the rest of the footage, at least for me, has 100%
Gangbang.
solidified Wes Watson as a big bitch. He issues these challenges. Someone finally accepted it, and then Wes Watson has his 3 friends help him beat that guy's ass. And that guy never even struck Wes, at least not in any of the footage
I feel
that's
like
been released.
did
There's
they get
that
arrested
one
for assault?
tiny shove, and then he like kind of lunges at Wes Watson, but doesn't land any punches or anything at all. Immediately covers up because 4 people are now attacking him. And 4 people immediately get ready to attack him the second that he tells Wes Watson that he's up to actually take that fight. So yeah, what a piece of shit. Big old piece of shit. Classic Wes Watson. That's really about it. So yeah.
See ya, Charlie. All right, what are we watching next? Oops. I gotta remember to put these fucking videos in the description. I keep forgetting. It's nothing malicious, though. I swear to God, I'm just really bad at remembering things. All right. What should we watch? Do 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 do. Poopy poopy poop. Earth's eat my berry. Huh? Oh, I want to actually see this.
The clown car has arrived.
Shout out to Gamers Nexus. I will link this in the description.
And this time, all of NVIDIA's 50 series partner models have come spilling out of it.
Thanks to NVIDIA Blackwell architecture.
NVIDIA just this week announced its 5090, 5080, 5070 Ti, and 5070. We have a separate news video on that. Those range from $550 to $2,000 for the 5090. And the rated total graphics power ranges as you'd expect, but it goes up to 575 watts for the 5090, which is really interesting. And that prototype we just took apart kind of sets the stage for some of NVIDIA's Founders Edition solutions it's applying for this next generation. But there are still a lot of partner models. We're going to be talking about those today and going through some of the most ridiculous marketing that you'll see all year. But also there's some pretty interesting designs in here. And then for the Founders Edition specifically, we have a separate deep dive interview with Malcolm Gutenberg from NVIDIA that's coming up soon. He's the one who asked me to bring back the clown car quote. He really likes that quote. But Malcolm will be joining for a super technical thermal engineering deep dive on the FE card specifically. So that'll be later. Let's get into it. Before that, this video is brought to you by Thermaltake and the Tower 600 case. The Tower 600 is a vertical case design with Thermaltake's unique showcase presentation, which stands out further with its separate chassis stand kit that rotates the case for an angled showpiece. The Tower 600 is heavily ventilated around the sides, has a ton of radiator support including up to 420mm solutions, and offers 2 GPU mounting options for display and cooling optimization. It also comes in colors not commonly seen in cases. Learn more about the Tower 600 at the link in the description below. MSI is up first for partner models. Let's hear it from them.
The RTX 50 series boasts a revolutionary leap in AI capabilities thanks to NVIDIA Blackwell architecture. Thanks to NVIDIA.
Ah yes, NVIDIA. We're always excited to hear about NVIDIA cards, just like when we get to hear about AMD and MSI. We do, however, miss talking about EVGA GPUs. So, now that we've heard from MSI about its NVIDIA cards, let's get into some of the more MSI models, like the MSI Supreme.
With a brush, tasteful, understated, groundbreaking, the crown jewel, our cutting-edge, integral, advanced, fantastic, unparalleled, premium striking. Darker design, premium craftsmanship, fractured lines that are set across a dark shroud, diffused RGB lights, reminiscent of airship boosters, unmatched long, intense gaming sessions, complex AI workloads.
But don't worry, they've innovated with innovative, groundbreaking shapes. They call it the circle.
Circles are perfect, unbroken, infinite. Each one speaks of precision. 3 of them can blend to deliver
just
form
reinvent the
and power in
circle?
perfect harmony. With 3 familiar, perfect circles.
Wow, revolutionary Masai NVIDIA circles. Anyway, so MSI's most interesting 5090s are the unnamed
Anyway.
special editions. And judging by that stylized eye, they might be bringing back the Lightning brand. There's two versions, both utilizing a custom central PCB and dual flow-through, similar to the Founders Edition design. So far, MSI is the only company we've seen trying this approach. The liquid-cooled version looks massive and will have two internal 120mm liquid cooler radiators sandwiched between front and rear fans, totaling 4 fans and push-pull. We do wonder about the trade-off here between thicker radiators with single fans, or even just thicker single fans, versus thinner rads with push-pull thin fans, but we might get this one in for testing. I'll try and buy it or something. In this TPU image though, we can make out the central block and the tube connections. Now, MSI loves circles so much that, believe it or not,
God damn it.
this particular model will have 5 fans, and not one of them isn't a circle. But they're not just any fans. These are MSI's claw-textured Storm Force fans with circular arc structure. That's right, you know what that means.
What?
Jeremy, do we know what that means? Each end of the card has the same push-pull setup, but with an air cooler, with a central fan on the front like a traditional GPU. MSI says the fans are independently adjustable and that it'll cool both your GPU and the system. Next is the new Vanguard SoC design that has
aerodynamics and fractured lines that are set across a dark shroud, as well as diffused RGB lights, reminiscent of airship boosters.
We've been waiting for that familiar airship booster look. It took them long enough. MSI will have a, quote, launch edition that comes with one limited edition Lucky figurine from the blind box of Lucky. There's 9 basic editions for losers and one secret edition, which we guess is the 5-star if using gotcha brain rot gamble logic. Since this is the limited banner event, you'll need to spend at least $20,000 to get them all, but only if you don't get any duplicates. Curiously, MSI printed 24GB GDDR7 on the side of its 5080 box seen in its own video. Since we know the 5080 has 16GB of memory and the 5090 has 32GB of memory, this is either a gigantic typo or a hint, probably accidental, that NVIDIA was at least at one point considering this configuration, if not maybe working on it for a refresh or something. And we have seen leaks about such a configuration. MSI's lineup is rounded out with the return of the Suprim air and liquid cooled cards with brushed metal shrouds and, quote, automotive grade coolant. Now, we're assuming what they mean by automotive grade coolant is propylene glycol.
Yeah.
Hopefully the mixture is not actually like automotive grade coolant, because those are mixed such that the low temperature is really low and the high temperature is really high, and the end result is in something like a video card, the actual cooling capacity will be worse if it is truly an automotive grade mixture, because you don't need antifreeze in these GPUs. Broadly speaking, you want the distilled water percentage makeup of the total mixture to be as high as possible, so it gets some of the low temperature for storage, but it still has all the cooling capacity. Anyway, pedantism aside, they also have standard 3-fan gaming cards like the Gaming Trio and the Ventus 3X variants. Additional versions for the 5080 include the Gaming Trio White and the Champagne Gold Inspire 3X. Asus is up next, and jumping in with the Asus ROG Astral will...
You know what? I think this one's pretty much done, but I would like to work on the new one. This bad boy right there. All right. So here we go. You guys will be able to see me do this from start to finish. Bum, 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 bum. I would wonder what these things are. Oh god, there's nothing like a brand new canvas. Perfectly flat. Love it. Alright, we gotta get rid of my paint stuff and bring out all my design stuff, because that's how I do my patterns. It all gets done in Stencil first, which definitely not using that fucking mechanical pencil again, because that made this painting take 10 times longer. All right. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Get that going, get on the rolling. Okay. Me. Right. Oh, right. Put them all in this laptop case. Where's my other? Oh, well, I'm going to be using my electric eraser anyway, right? Got my electric eraser. All right. All right, what else do I need? I'll need. All right, 1 second. I will be right back. Pencil sharpener go. Oh. Those. Ah, man. And then I need my pencil lead. Is that up here? Oh, I found it. I don't think this is the right kind though. Maybe like the thicker word there. The thick words. Oh, actually, no. Got it. One of the. Oh, actually, in the bottom of this. Would you look at that? Mm. Un momento. Ugh. Totally like gross. I found some of it. I had so many damn templates. Actually, kind of insanity. Okay. Oh shit! Hey, what's up, man? Oh, hold on. Damn. Let me see. Promise myself I would come. I would come. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. But I was scared something. I would do. Yeah, dude, definitely, man. But don't beat yourself up about it. Sometimes it takes, sometimes it takes a bunch of tries. I mean, I've heard stories of people who, you know, find the one and just kept pursuing and kept pursuing. And then eventually, years and years later, you know, people change and their outlook on life changes, or, you know, stuff like that happens, and realize, you know, that maybe was the person for me. So I don't know. I feel like it's all just, yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really believe in fate, but I don't know. I guess if everything's happened, if everything's happening and has happened and will happen all at the same time, then there's some version out there where, you know, anything can happen. That probably didn't make any sense. But just simply, there's always another day. And who knows? Maybe tomorrow was the day that you were meant to do it. Thank you for stopping by the way. Oh yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, you too, dude. I'm glad I could help. Just don't be too hard on yourself, you know? I think that's the main point. Just take it easy. Thank you for stopping by though. Always fucking counting on you, dude. Have a good football match, man. I'm gonna start this video.
At Asus's possibly AI written and possibly AI narrated design story video play. Testament is one of those LLM flag words along with the serial comma. Here it is.
At ROG, we're driven by a deep desire to innovate and push the limits. The new ROG Astral Series graphics cards are a testament to that dedication. The series is inspired by the mysteries of the universe and the captivating power of astronomical wonders like black holes.
We assume they're talking about the black hole that you'll throw an astronomical amount of money into. Did you see? The metal-bodied Astral has 4 fans, with one on the backside on the flow-through area, sandwiching what Asus calls a more densely packed fin stack. It's going to utilize a phase change pad on the core, so it's not liquid metal like on the Founders Edition, but they are moving to what pretty much everyone's using for higher-end cards and has been for a little bit. One of the interesting things here with the stacked fans and push-pull type setups is these could lead to a beat frequency phenomenon with undesirable acoustics characteristics, depending on how they've configured the fan RPMs to behave related to each other. And if you're curious about that, you can watch our technical interview with Noctua's Jacob Dellinger previously, where he walks us through how beat frequencies form and what that sort of means. So the Astral also has a conformal coating on the PCB, and this is kind of interesting. It could make it an easy option for liquid nitrogen XOC. Asus also has a liquid-cooled Astral LC that seems like a spiritual successor to the 4090 Matrix from the last generation, with a 38mm thick 360mm rad and a single VRM fan. Maybe we can sign this one with Roman next year. Je mehr du kaufst,
desto mehr kannst du sparen.
That's right. The tough 5090 design is generally what we would expect. It's ready to block, load, and dominate. It's Asus's words, not ours. With its gunmetal gray metal shroud and standard flow-through option. It has, quote, military-grade components. And every time we've read those marketing words on a box, those of you in our audience who've been in or are in the military have left your insights about what that phrasing truly means. They also say it has 12 heat pipes and a vapor chamber with a 3.6 slot design, which would actually be effective for cooling if it's all integrated properly. Asus's TUF series GPUs were actually some of the better ones that we've tested in the past. Asus also says that it has axial tech fans, which are, quote, up to 23% more air than standard fans. And we don't know what that means because to us, standard fans are axial fans, but okay. The page advertises, once again, military-grade MOSFETs and chokes, but this time it says they're certified. We hope they put the certificate in the box. Asus says the MOSFETs deliver, quote, rock-solid power to the GPU, which is strange since rocks are probably more synonymous with ground, and they have tough capacitors, better than weak ones, obviously, that reportedly have better temperature tolerance and longer lifespan than whatever a standard or a weak capacitor is, by their definition. Asus also notes 80,000 hour life ratings on its dual ball bearing fans. Frankly, we're disappointed that they're not using certified military-grade dual tough balls. Interestingly, Asus describes its max contact design of the cold plate as increasing the surface area of the cold plate by 5%, which it says improves performance by up to 2 degrees. This is one of the more interesting claims. It looks like the surface might have some light variation in the finish to create this additional surface area. Asus also says its fans spin in opposing directions. We've seen this before, like on Gigabyte cards in the past, and Asus says that the fans stay off if below 50 degrees. At the 5080 level, a Prime card gets added to the mix, which has a very standard 2.5 slot triple fan cooler. It's actually kind of on the thinner side compared to the last generation, so that's nice to see. It does, however, appear to have a plastic shroud. The cooler also uses a vapor chamber and phase change pad, and likewise it has dual tough balls. The Prime still carries a dual V BIOS switch, which we always like to see on partner models because it's at least redundancy for tweaking. This is good value add over the FE cards. Asus claims that these fans stop spinning below 50 degrees and that they have a, quote, 0 dB technology, known to the rest of the world as a fan curve. The card has a moderate sized flow through area but keeps the size down overall. Strix is relegated to the 5070 Ti this time. It's pretty surprising because this sub-brand dates back to at least the NVIDIA 900 series that we can remember, and it's always been associated with Asus's flagship GPUs. The good news is that Asus has now gone to 4 significant figures with its Strix design because it has a 3.275 slot design, not 3.3, not 3.28. 3.275. Finally, the somewhat popular Pro Art line is nowhere to be found here, at least at the time we're writing this.
Sure this thing's really expensive too.
Next up is Gigabyte, which starts off by getting its partner's name right.
Sorry.
We're thrilled to work with a
Fucking audio just went like wacky.
Media. That's good. Otherwise, we'd have to.
All right. This thing is a straight edge from my grandfather's architect firm that he created. This thing's heavy as hell, but this is how you make a fucking straight line or try to cut a straight line on something. You need to be perfectly straight and it not move. Something just fell off the desk. What was that? Oh, my dog. My dog. Yeah. Dude, if we could hit 20 followers this stream, or even 19 followers this stream, that'd be dope as. Alright, that looks pretty damn good. So basically, when I do these geometric patterns, these 2 lines that I'm starting with are pretty much like, if I even fuck this up by like a little bit, it throws the whole goddamn thing off. It's actually impressive. Like one little tiny mismeasurement down here will make something out here like 8 inches off. So these drafting ruler things are the best because they're see-through and they have a grid. So I can actually match up and make sure before I put this other straight edge on, because that does not have a grid on it, that these are all lined up. Some aren't completely lined up, but I think as long as that middle one and the 2 outsides stay there, we'll be good. It's also a little trippy too, because sometimes the grain in the canvas is a little off. This thing makes it so much easier because it's so heavy. It will not move. And if you need to cut something, it's steel, so it's fucking pretty strong. Oh, actually, no, why don't I put it up against this? See where we're at. Oh, it's pretty much perfect. Okay. I saw this pencil, this new type of pencil that it rotates as you're using it, like the lead rotates or the whatever this shit's made out of, actually rotates as you're writing. So you always are drawing and you always get a perfect point. All right. One thing I do want to get again is my horsehair brush because that thing helps so much. Wow, this is like really exact. Damn. All right. And then the second most important thing about doing these is punching out the center point because any circles I make off of it are like that is the origin point. So sometimes it's a little nerve wracking. I wish there was a piece of wood behind it. Okay, put this buddy right there. Okay. Perfect. Okay. And then I have these, which I have to say, years ago, I was trying to find something, a compass that I could use that I could make big circles with. And I could not find anything. Like the biggest I could find is like was like an extension or something, is like maybe a circle that's this big. But then I found these, which are so freaking cool. They attach to usually a yardstick, but I don't know what the fuck happened to my yardstick. Um, but they will attach to a regular ruler. This one's plastic, but still works. And basically, what you do, oh, yeah, what you do, oh, wait, no, that's not pressing up against that. There we go. You go like that. All right, here, let's put it on the end since I'm trying to make the biggest circle I can. All right, so that's on the lead side. And then this has a spike on this side. And what I like to do is do opposite, so it basically like kind of sits in the middle. It's probably not supposed to be that way, but and this thing's super flexible. I need something a little more rigid. I used to have another regular ruler that was made out of wood too, but if this doesn't work as well as I want it to, I also have this one, but it's set at half-inch increments, so okay, this is way off. Alright, give it a little bit of room. Okay. Piece of lead is like not sharp at all. We'll do a light one. Basically, you just hold the tops of these. Try not to bend the ruler at all. Perfect. Okay. Maybe I should turn the contrast up a little bit or something. I don't know. You can see it, right? It's really hard to see on my screen. Okay. Let me get my notebook. Okay. All right. So also, oh, what the fuck? Dude, what the fuck, man? It has to be my favorite fucking set of books, too. I cannot believe that just broke. Fuck. At least it didn't damage any of the pages. It's just it fucking split the whole. All right, well, that was kind of shitty. God damn. I was about to say these are my favorite books that I have, and I treasure these, even though I just fucking dropped this one and it shattered the spine somehow. Look at that. It freaking. I have to fix that somehow. Anyway, it's Scientia Quadrivium and Divine. No. And these books are the coolest things. I wish I found these when I was like a teenager, because the amount of information that these have in them is bananas. Like, just on every type of mathematical thing, sounds, space, um like ancient languages. It's like overwhelming. This one's really awesome. This one has number, geometry, music, and cosmology. Scientia, which is the one I just bought literally like 2 days ago and it just broke, is mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and astronomy for all. And it gives me so much inspiration for the geometric patterns now. Like being able to hide ancient symbols and like just different like symmetry and pattern from thousands of years ago, and like how people had figured that stuff out is absolutely amazing. So freaking cool. Like just it has so much information in this. So I've been trying to use it, and basically that circle one has the Fibonacci sequence in it. Um and it's crazy because it comes out absolutely beautiful. Or my interpretation of it, I guess. But this one, we're going to do something different. I'm going to attempt to try and make it different than my normal ones by making symbols and using those symbols to make that pattern, basically, is what I'm going to attempt to do. Now, I believe I have to come up with something a little bit more like the framework is what I need to figure out right now. Because usually my framework will start with something that is um honestly random, but I don't know. My whole thing is chaos and order and our relationship and how it all plays off each other. So I feel like the chaos of it is just me doing a random framework and then adding in exactly what I want for the shapes and the patterns. So yeah, let's do that. um yeah, it's tough because okay. All right, we got this. Put that down there. Here. I'm gonna stop this video. I'm gonna watch no offense to Gamers Nexus or anything. Just want to change something to something a little more cerebral. Wait, what?
It's Sunday, the Sabbath, but RGT does not rest because RGT needs
That's
people to
hilarious.
repent for their sins. What sins, you might ask? The sins of poor reporting of Switch 2 things. Because obviously the past few days have been absolutely crazy for Nintendo Switch 2 related things. There's been accessory leaks, there's been hardware leaks, potentially software leaks, and with all of these things comes an aura of excitement, and rightfully so. People are looking forward to this next system, and I've had a ton of fun covering it, and obviously a lot of other people have as well. But there's one thing I always notice with this sort of thing is that when people tend to report on every little thing, they never really come along and correct when something goes against their narrative because it doesn't line up with their narrative. They don't want to put out there that maybe they got duped a little bit. And it seems like there's been a lot of duping over some certain situations that have been happening. And those people aren't going to talk about it, but I will because I don't care. I always keep an open mind, especially with some of these sources. The first thing we're going to talk about is a source that I pretty much told you guys I wasn't 100% sure on. Remember that Mario Kart 9 situation? Red Dead Redemption 2 situation? We got a trailer date leak, a system release leak for this system from an individual who supposedly got PS5 Pro, the window of that release accurate. They got Nintendo Alarmo accurate, even though they initially had said that it was a Switch 2 thing. Well, they actually took to Discord to give us a big update on their inside information. Look, the truth is I made everything up, man. I mean, there you go. Like, what? Here, let me zoom in on it.
You definitely know Nintendo.
So for all the people that were saying that, like Mario Kart 9, the new 3D Mario, Red Dead Redemption 2. What did I say in my video about this? I said that, you know, they're probable guesses. The timeline of things didn't really make sense to me. The software side, like, yeah, Nintendo's going to make another Mario Kart and another 3D Mario, and maybe Red Dead Redemption is one of those games that leaked on the French website from Rockstar, but maybe it's not. You know, there's also the whole Take-Two side of things when it comes to that, so I don't necessarily think that it is a foregone conclusion that it is Red Dead 2, but it doesn't matter because this individual, the same person who was talking about all these dates, who was talking about all these software leaks and stuff like that, came out and said they made everything up. And like that kind of bothers me. It bothers me that so many people just dove right in with that and didn't really look at it with any sort of analytical eye or critical eye. Like I was very fair. I was kind of middle of the road with it. I was like, I personally don't think that there's any sort of credence to this, but maybe there is. And then when this information comes out and it kind of debunks what videos previously and what you know, articles that people have previously made, and they don't come along and update the audience, like that just kind of irks me. It's a personal thing that just kind of irks me a little bit, but all that really matters is that all that stuff was just BS. It was all made up, all those dates, all those things. It wasn't based on insider information or anything like that. An individual made all that up. that's not to say that those things might not happen. There could potentially be a Mario Kart 9 at the launch of this system, and maybe it is shown off in the first trailer. But this person didn't accurately leak it. If you throw enough shit at the wall, something is bound to stick. That's just how it is. A broken clock is right twice a day. But there's another story that we have to do some clarifications on.
That's
because
why.
boy, oh boy, did this just pop up out of nowhere. So,
and then that's
of course, Genki was at CES 2025 showcasing some Nintendo Switch 2 accessories. We saw Joy-Con holders, controllers, screen protectors, all sorts of wild stuff from them. They had videos, they had on the floor sort of demonstrations, they had a size comparison thing. And the story that came out from that was that allegedly a Genki representative was trying to pass it off as like an authentic thing, saying that they bought it on the black market. Now, whether or not that is true, if that is something that they said, and I'm sure Genki is watching this video because I know that they watch these videos, don't do things like that. Even if it's a joke, even if it's a tongue-in-cheek thing, don't do things like that, because that kind of shines a negative light on you. Because Genki did come along and clarify that, hey, you know, this was something that was just based on the prototype dimensions that have been floating out there from other accessory manufacturers, and that's what they are basing it on. But saying that you got it off of a black market thing, like, that just shines a negative light. And, you know, I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world, but I don't feel like it helps the overall situation. Like, I'm sure if it was said, it was kind of tongue-in-cheek. I mean, I would say something like that, but just a little piece of advice with this, you know, you got to tread carefully, because it does seem like something may have happened at CES 2025 because Genki kind of disappeared in the middle of the night. They were supposed to be there for the whole showing of CES 2025, but they left a little bit early. And some reports have come out about this, basically stating why. You might wonder if something like this is over on Go Nintendo. If something like this caught the attention of the the notoriously sue-happy and overstepping Nintendo. Well, according to French journalist Julien Telloc, it has. Telloc was at CES 2025 and apparently heard from one of the employees at Genki's booth that they had been approached by lawyers representing Nintendo during the show. You can see his account of the events along with an English translation below. So we have a YouTube short here from Julien Telloc, which I'm not going to watch it because it's summarized right down here. I spoke with the guy from Genki just behind me. He told me that Nintendo had already sent the lawyers their way, but Genki has nothing to worry about because they never signed any papers with Nintendo, no confidentiality agreement, no NDAs. So the Japanese brand is in the clear. And because of this, people started running with this whole sort of crazy narrative, like Nintendo is going to come after them and sue them and lawyers, stuff like that. And then we got an update from Genki themselves about this situation. And of course, some people believe it, some people don't. Just wrapped up an epic CES 2025. It's been a sobering drive to the wildfires in LA. Shout out to all, if I have any viewers in LA, like, stay safe, dog. Like, you can always replace possessions. You can't replace yourself, you know? So, you know, be smart. If you need to evacuate, evacuate. And I hope everything works out there. And so basically this sobering drive, we'll be catching up with friends and family affected. And one more thing, don't believe all the rumors. And we have the Genki team here lined up. Of course, there's people, I mean, this guy, he hit the nail on the head. Shout out to Retro Games HQ. He knows the deal. But then there's people here, you know, saying stuff like, clowns, rest in peace, your company. You know, there was Reddit on the case and they're trying to sue them and stuff like that. So where does the truth actually stand with this? It's probably somewhere in the middle. Like, I can't imagine that Nintendo was super happy to see them on the show floor with Switch 2 products. But if you're not signing an NDA agreement, you're not signing a confidentiality agreement because you're not working with Nintendo on this. You are a third-party company in the purest sense of the word. There's only so much stroke that they really have with that sort of thing. There's only so much push that they can actually do. They might ask you to be like, hey, you know, don't do that. Like, come on, man. Like, something like that, and then they abided by it. But was it some sort of shakedown mentality where they busted up in there and, you know, cleared them out? I don't think it is. don't believe all the rumors, as the Genki Twitter account says at the end of the day.
Wait.
So once again, this will be something that, you know, circles all around the internet, and people, I've already seen people making videos, the Nintendo ninjas strike again. And the one thing I find very funny, and this is what we're going to close the video on, is I've seen several different content creators like celebrating based on the fact that they think that Nintendo actively went after Genki and, you know, took him down, like, oh, don't mess with Nintendo. And to that I say, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, you profited, you made money making content, writing articles, making videos about Genki being there.
Sure.
And without them, you would have had nothing. You had tangible evidence of stuff to cover, but without them, you would have had nothing. But now you're saying, oh yeah, go Nintendo, go attack them. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? Like, do you not see how ridiculous that sounds? Look, Nintendo can do what they want to do. They are a large company. I don't have to agree with everything that they do. There are lots of things I do not agree with as far as their business practices are concerned. If this was some sort of shakedown at CES 2025, I do think that's overstepping your boundaries. However, if this was a conversation that happened and they were kind of like, hey, you know, can you do this for us so that, you know, nothing else has to happen? Then sure, that's a very reasonable situation. That is something that is somewhat understandable, but the information is already out there. That information that you covered, that you profited on, but now you're dick riding Nintendo for doing the right thing. It's clown shoe stuff. It's clown shoe stuff. And I have to wonder, like, who raised you people? Because that's ridiculous to me. I'm sure Genki will be fine with this. They are a successful company. They will make Nintendo Switch 2 products. They already have a whole line of them, and we got to see them at CES. And everyone got something fun to talk about. There was some excitement for whenever Nintendo reveals this thing, because we're learning more and more about it. I'm just saying, man, keep your... Just like, watch what you say with stuff like that, because, you know, it gives you a look that... I mean, it's not a good look, homie. And, you know, maybe that's the image you want to put out there.
Drive
but for
slow,
me, it's
homie.
kind of like,
Drive slow, homie.
You seem untrustworthy at the end of the day. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below, though. Are you surprised that Mr. I got Alarmo wrong, and I said it was a Switch 2, but it was really Alarmo? Are you surprised that he just made everything up and then people just ate it up hand over fist and then didn't bother to tell you that, hey, it was all bullshit? And what do you think about the Genki situation? Do you think it was a shakedown? Do you think it was a hostile situation? Or do you think that there is more to the story and it's probably somewhere more in the middle, probably not as big of a deal as it's being made out to be? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. Hope you have a great Sunday. Like I said, if you're out in LA, stay safe. You know, like I said, man, possessions can always be replaced. You can't replace yourself, though, or, you know, your friends or your family or something like that. So, you know, stay safe, make smart decisions, and I hope for the best for you. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video.
7, 8,
later.
9.5. All right. All right, let's see. What else are we gonna watch? What do we got here? What do we got? What do we got? Hello? Oh, yeah.
The unfortunate disaster engulfing Los Angeles is bad enough, but the situation will get worse with what happens next.
The insurance companies are going to do everything they can to lowball and deny claims.
Insurance is like having a big bouncer looking dude as a friend who is also scared to get hit. He makes you feel like you're protected if you were to get in a fight, but he'll just run at the first sign of a problem.
California is the only state that does not allow private insurance companies to incorporate the cost of reinsurance into their premiums. And this is why 100,000 Californians lost coverage between 2019 and 2024.
Instead of losing bad politicians, many Californians unfortunately are about to find out that they lost insurance, especially the kind that covers fire damage. 3/4 of homeowners may not have enough insurance to fully cover losses after a disaster, study says. I'm considering this situation to be a massive scam because I believe that many California homeowners are about to find out that they have been misled, screwed over, or lied to regarding the protection of their home. AccuWeather has updated and increased its preliminary estimate of the total damage and economic loss to be between $135 billion and $150 billion. Thankfully, we'll just need to ask Ukraine for our money back to cover this deficit, so there's nothing to worry about. A whopping 69% of homeowners in Pacific Palisades lost their homeowners insurance before the fire. Pacific Palisades led the list where about 1,600 policies were dropped by State Farm in July. Many insurance companies saw this from a mile away. What may seem like a bit of a black swan event was actually predictable given the policies implemented by the most intelligent politicians this world has ever seen. Remember, these decisions were made before ChatGPT, so we can't fault them that much.
Mr. Rosenfield, what is the mood of the people out there in California right now?
Angry. We're fed up with 3 years of high insurance rates.
In 1988, California voters approved a ballot measure backed by consumer groups, read tort lawyers, that turned the insurance commissioner into a rate-setting czar.
People are angry, and that's why we put Proposition 103 on the ballot.
Harvey Rosenfield, David to the insurance industry's Goliath.
This Proposition 103 law was intended to protect consumers by limiting how much insurance companies could charge consumers. Policies in California can generally be nicknamed jacking off because they may feel good in the moment, but after a while you're just screwing yourself.
The impact that Prop 103 has had in this state.
Yeah, let me tell you, it saved billions and billions and billions.
The savings to people of California just for auto insurance has been over $150 billion.
Contrary to claims that Prop 103 saved Californians as much as $154 billion in auto insurance premiums from 1989 to 2015, we find that Californians would have saved nearly $25 billion if they had not passed Prop 103. Because of this legislation, insurance companies couldn't update policies to adequately offset the risks associated with California's potential wildfires. One major lesson I learned from reading Nassim Taleb's books is how poorly equipped humans are at understanding risk in black swan events. This legislation helped consumers save a few bucks each month for a while, but what happens when the black swan event eventually hits? Californians are now living with the outcome. This now prophetic blog post was written by Stephen Greenhut in 2023. Now, as the state budget looks at a $23 billion deficit, California confronts a new challenge. A serious crisis in the insurance industry is looming, largely unnoticed by state officials. Hate on insurance companies all you want, but their business is only kept alive because of their predictive software and forecasting. If they're leaving your city, the one excuse you don't have is, I had no idea this catastrophe was coming.
These families in a suburb like this are not alone. At least 7 of the state's property insurers, including big companies like State Farm and Allstate, have either left the state of California or are only offering limited coverage.
The recent floods and wildfire season not only have battered the state's infrastructure, they have also saddled insurance firms with as much as $1.5 billion in losses. Insurance markets could weather these blows, but the government-controlled insurance system won't let them.
And those throughout the state that are also suffering the risks of losing and being priced out of fire insurance as fire risks become more severe and more pertinent.
According to the California Department of Insurance, between 2020 and 2022, insurance companies declined to renew 2.8 million homeowner policies in the state. That includes 531,000 in fire-ravaged LA County.
If you have a mortgage, the lender will force you to have insurance, so what's your next best option? Thus, insurance companies are pulling out of the state or reducing their underwriting, leaving many homeowners dependent on the bare-bones insurer of last resort, the state-created Fair Access to Insurance Requirements Plan.
In 2019, just under 160,000 people were on Fair Plan residential and commercial policies. In June of this year, that number stood at nearly 420,000.
Many Californians were probably relieved that the state jumped in and gave them the feeling of protection. This will become a scam if these homeowners aren't able to get the funding they need to rebuild their home. But in March, Fair Plan President Victoria Roach testified that the plan was dangerously overextended, accountable for more than $300 billion in potential losses, with just $200 million in surplus available to cover those costs. This next clip was filmed February 8, 2024, and will provide some insight into what's going to get worse for California homeowners.
A lot of people with damage to their homes from this week's storms are trying to decide if it's worth it to submit a claim and potentially jeopardize their policies. The I-Team has been reporting how more and more homeowners are being dropped by their insurance companies. And this is when the state's Fair Plan is supposed to kick in and help out. But the I-Team learned homeowners are now struggling to secure that coverage too.
The companies that California kicked out have the funding necessary to handle large-scale catastrophes. It doesn't seem like Fair has the funding. Meanwhile, the value of the residential properties insured by Fair has risen to more than $450 billion, triple what it was in 2020. This has led to worries that with all the damage from the current fires, the plan will go broke. In the same video released on February 8, 2024, it appears that Fair was already known to be in trouble.
The volume of applications that they're getting is swamping them.
Amy Bach with the consumer advocacy group United Policy Holders says the Fair Plan can't keep up with demand.
A full year later, here's an updated number on Fair's financial resources.
That Fair program only has $700 million cash on hand to pay claims. All right, California is the only state that does not allow private insurance companies, State Farm and Allstate are the two biggest in California, to incorporate the cost of reinsurance into their premiums. And this is why 100,000 Californians lost coverage between 2019 and 2024.
One of the unfortunate realities of this catastrophe is that many homeowners are going to be screwed because of legalese in an insurance policy they didn't fully read, understand, or put much thought into. Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans in August 2005 and cost an estimated $125 billion in damages. Homeowners sue insurers for denied Katrina claims. Hundreds of homeowners along the Gulf Coast are suing insurance companies for refusing to pay for damage that their waterfront properties sustained from Hurricane Katrina. In denying their claims, insurers cited the language of the policies, but attorneys for homeowners argue that many of these claims were improperly denied.
The people who built their houses to spec, who paid their federal flood insurance policy, had a homeowner's policy because in hurricane country you don't know whether it's going to be the wind or the water that gets you. So you hedge your bets with both. And like thousands of other people in the weeks after the storm, one after another, were told by their private insurers, we're not going to pay you.
I bring up Katrina, even though it was a long time ago, because I think there will be similarities between that horrendous catastrophe and the one we're seeing right now with the Los Angeles wildfires. The major issue in both situations is insurance payouts to protect those who have been victimized. Since certain areas of New Orleans weren't listed as flood zones, thousands of people didn't have flood insurance when Katrina struck. This left them with no insurance coverage for flood damage, which can be the costliest of repairs. And it was impossible to access most homes in the days that followed, making homeowners too late to prevent mold growth in buildings and significant damage to personal possessions. Those without flood insurance had no option but to pay out of pocket or abandon their properties because they were uninhabitable without extensive repairs or rebuilding.
About 10 months before their policy renewal, Gerardo received this letter from AmGuard saying they are no longer writing policies in California. AmGuard says policies were canceled in 2024 because they no longer rate any insured policies in California due to wildfire risk.
My concern is that some insurers are going to be able to weasel out of paying damages due to wording in people's policies without them knowing that they weren't covered for wildfires. Court, insurers not liable for Katrina flood damages. I have a sneaky suspicion that we'll be seeing similar news stories in the following months about insurers not liable for LA wildfire damages. Best of luck to everyone affected. Thanks for watching.
appeared almost instantly on Earth, suggesting it's easy.
That was easy.
Yet we see no evidence for it anywhere else in our galaxy, or even in our solar system. Today I'll take you on a deep dive into the math and physical laws behind this fascinating and somewhat disturbing observation. 3.8 billion years ago, in the blink of a cosmic eye after the Earth cooled, life on Earth came about. Either we're astronomically lucky to be first, or we're missing something fundamental about life in the universe. Let's break down the actual numbers. Today I'm going to expand upon themes that Adam Frank discussed in his Lex Fridman podcast interview. Adam Frank is an astrophysicist who's been pivotal in bringing attention to the cosmic perspective of life, emphasizing the interplay between planetary evolution, climate constraints, and the emergence and survival of civilizations. I've had Adam on twice on the podcast. He's a renowned popularizer, professor, and researcher, one of the greats. And Lex Fridman, as you know, just might be the GOAT. He loves to explore everything from cutting-edge robotics to deep scientific questions and even to philosophy, always with a little dose of love sprinkled in. Love you, brother. I've had the honor of being on. Our conversation has 9 million plus views, one of the top 12 or so podcast episodes, and Lex's interviews with astrophysicists always do well. David Kipping has even more, close to 10 million views. So this is a great subject for me to really dive deep upon and share some of my perspective. Now, I'm a cosmologist, not someone who searches for exoplanets like Adam does theoretically, or David Kipping does observationally using tools like the James Webb Space Telescope to dive into the existence of so-called exomoons. But the fundamental question has always puzzled me, as I know it does you. Are we alone? Extraterrestrials. It's probably the second most interesting topic one could study after cosmology. Hint, hint, that's what I study. Are we alone? Does advanced life always self-destruct, or can it persist? So I'll break down Adam's main talking points, then I'll move methodically into the underlying equations and data, and I'll do so in a so-called Bayesian framework that I think is unique and possibly controversial, as I don't believe there's a high probability that life exists elsewhere. Denial. But I'm willing to be proven wrong. I think that's what a good scientist has to be open to. Adam's conversation laid out several thought-provoking arguments. The first was the proliferation of exoplanets. Adam underlined that only a few decades ago, we didn't even know if other stars had planets. When I started grad school, we hadn't even discovered another planet beyond our solar system. And back then, Pluto was still a planet. Now, thanks to missions like Kepler, TESS, and ground-based radial velocity surveys, we have evidence of billions of planets in our galaxy alone. Many of these lie in the so-called habitable zones, capable, at least in principle, of hosting liquid water on their surfaces. Another topic that Adam highlights in his conversation with Lex and mine, and conversations with me on the Into the Impossible podcast, is the so-called principle of cosmic mediocrity, which echoes the Copernican principle. Adam emphasizes that the notion that the Earth is likely not uniquely favored. And so that would seem to suggest that since life's here and we're not special, there must be life elsewhere. I think that might be a stretch too far. If the conditions that led to Earth's biosphere can be replicated, we may expect multiple experiments in life generation throughout the cosmos. The third point that Adam brings up is so-called civilizational longevity. When we address the so-called Fermi paradox, first proposed by Enrico Fermi during the Manhattan Project, one of the audience members that he proposed it to was the late great Herb York. Now, Herb was my colleague here at UCSD. I actually got to know him. True physicist, and also an advocate for peace. In fact, one of his books is called Making Weapons, Waging Peace, or something like that. I was so delighted to get to know him before he passed away. Now, Adam highlights the planetary constraints that harnessing a large amount of energy can trigger feedback loops like climate change and resource depletion, or even catastrophic pollution. His book, Light of the Stars, talks about how you could use such feedback processes basically to look for the existence of alien civilizations without actually going there.
Life hijacks the planet in a way that the sum total of life creates these feedbacks between the planet and the life such that it keeps the planet habitable.
In other words, agriculture, climate change, the biosphere is engineered by humans or by organisms at the very least, from the very first microbial life that produced oxygen in the Earth's atmosphere, prior to which there was really only CO2 and other non-life sustaining gases, that is a biosignature.
Atmospheres are the things we can characterize for across 10, 50 light years, and we can see biosignatures, as we're going to talk about. So there is a reason why the habitable zone becomes important for the detection of extrasolar life.
And actually, if you can see that there's global warming that's engineered by, in our case, anthropocentric global warming, that could be used as a techno-signature, because even agriculture, as simple as we think it is a form of technology that actually enabled the modern world to exist. So that would be true on other planets, and Adam suggests we could use that as a window to detect or maybe even eventually communicate with other life forms. Now, in the interview, Lex pressed him on his fourth claim, which is whether or not we can actually find unambiguous biosignatures or technosignatures, such as atmospheric disequilibria, industrial pollutants, or unusual spectral lines with the next generation of telescopes, or even the current generation with James Webb Space Telescope I've had on.
everybody. Sorry about that. Had to do a few things, but the guy is actually here to mess with the internet, so I am going to cut the stream. I'm sorry. I know I just came back. But my internet's probably going to cut out in about 5 seconds. So I will be back on in probably like 10 or 20 minutes. All right. Sorry about that. Going to the outro. Oh.